and welcome back to the Making the Radio Cut blog. I'm Michelle. In the studio with me today is Sean Stevens, the program director at 95.9 KISS FM in Youngstown, Ohio. And I should warn you, Sean's going to be one of those reoccurring characters on my blog since he's kind of giving me my off-campus mentor for my senior project. So, Sean, you ready?
I'm ready.
What led you to a career in radio?
I don't know. I was always fascinated with, TV and radio when I was growing up. Used to watch the TV newscasts all the time when I was a kid. And I don't know, just something that I was one of those people that knew, I think when I was 5 or 6, what I wanted to do. So when I got to college, I knew what I wanted to major in, and I kind of took it from there.
So did you have a plan B just in case radio didn't work out?
No. No, I did not. Thought about going to law school briefly, flirted with that. Then I just decided that's what I want to do. So no turning back.
Were there any jocks or stations you considered an early influence when you picked radio to do for a living?
Yeah, it's like I grew up in Pittsburgh, so there were a lot of, the top 40 stations I used to listen to when I was a kid growing up that just thought it was cool. I mean, I was one of those people that sat in my basement, with a record player and taping liners off a radio station and trying to make it sound like I was on the air. I mean, it sounds weird, but I think a lot of people that are in the business now have did that. So I'm probably, there are kindred souls out there that may be just as weird as I am.
All right, not to backtrack too much, but since you already mentioned college, do you think it's a good idea to do for someone who wants to pursue a career in radio?
I think having a college degree is solid either way. I mean, do you necessarily have to have a college degree to do this? No, but if you want to get into a management position and stuff like that, I think it doesn't hurt. And to be honest, it's an accomplishment. I think that shows people that you have, you're able to stick something out and see it through. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a college degree. I think, and just as a plan B, always good to have.
And I know you put your time in at Point Park, so why did you pick that specific school?
Really strong communications and journalism program there and a lot of internship opportunities. There were a lot of people that graduated from Point Park that were working in TV and radio in Pittsburgh, and that really opened up the doors to be able to get your foot in for internships and things like that.
Can you tell me a little bit about Point Park's college station and your experience there?
Our college station was a lot different than yours at Westminster. It was a carrier current station, which means it basically ran off the wiring in the building. So you could get it in the building, and if you're lucky, right outside the door of Point Park College. But I mean, it had its challenges, just like I'm sure, Westminster's radio station has. I mean, it was open to all students there. So, I mean, there's always going to be the case of where there's about maybe 3 other people that care about it as much as you do, and the rest are just looking to goof off and play around and have fun. But it was a cool experience. I met a lot of great people. I mean, many of my classmates, I'm fortunate and lucky enough to say our group there were a lot of people that were in our little circle there that are working, in major markets now and working in the field. So I think that's an accomplishment.
So you think there's anything you walked away with from college that you wouldn't have gotten at, say, like a broadcasting school?
I think you're more well-rounded with stuff. I mean, you got to learn a little bit about everything. I mean, I took classes at Point Park that, there you had to not only, it was a broadcasting concentration for me, but I had to take the print journalism classes where they give you an hour to go out, find a story, come back, get it written, get it on the professor's desk, copywriting, just storyboards for TV ads. I mean, a lot of that stuff that am I necessarily going to use that in radio? No, but it kind of gives you the full picture of the major. And I don't always think maybe just a broadcasting school can maybe give you that. Because who knows? I mean, down the line, I mean, you might decide maybe you want to go into TV. I mean, it's good to have that experience and be exposed to all of it. And I think that's what you get at a college and university program as opposed to, a broadcast school.
Biggest challenge after graduation?
Finding a job. And that's going to be no different than it is now for anybody who's getting out. I mean, I was able to get my foot in the door. I shouldn't say getting a job because at the time, I was able through my connections and all that to get my foot in the door, but it's getting that full-time opportunity, which is tough because, you kind of had to go out there. And back then, the stations were totally automated and they had people in there running the board overnight, playing all the music and all that stuff. It's just getting a chance to break through. If you don't want to move when you're in this business, that's going to be your prospects grow slimmer. You have to be willing to kind of move around. I never would have thought I would have come to Youngstown, but it worked out great for me. It's an hour from my home in Pittsburgh. I can still be home to see family. We work with relatively cool people here. Yeah, I was blessed. It took me a little bit of time to get to it, but eventually I did. You work part-time places and doors open, you meet people, you network, and, something will happen for you.
What was your first radio gig like?
I was a board operator and talk show producer at Variety 96 in Pittsburgh. ran the overnight board there, and was a talk show producer for WTAE radio in Pittsburgh with like Myron Cope and those kind of people, legendary people. I kind of did some producing work for those guys.
And last question, at least for today. Any advice for someone in a college program that hopes to break into radio?
Be persistent, develop a strong work ethic now. Because if you're someone who's going to be, well, I don't know, if you're fortunate enough to get your foot in the door someplace, learn everything you can. If they ask you, hey, could you come in and do this? I need somebody for this shift. Could you come in and cover it? You have to say yes. I mean, you can't be somebody who's like, well, that's going to interfere with my drinking plans tonight, or I had plans with my friends tonight. You got to suck it up, make the sacrifice, because the people that make those sacrifices are the ones that will get the first opportunity and the one being the ones who get hired. There's so many people who want to get in this field that don't understand that. If you really want to get knowing how hard it is to find a job in this field, if you're not going to be one of those people that will sacrifice sometimes your personal life for this, you might as well get out now, because I hate to say it, there's probably a lot of people that are in the program at Westminster that are in this field have no idea what it's like once they get into the real world and the kind of dedication it's going to take to succeed. And most of them probably won't. I mean, to be quite honest, you've got to be really good to make it anymore doing this. If you're not going to make it.